Good afternoon, I'm Rob Boskamp, and you're listening to South Texas Midday. Thank you for joining me on this Friday, August 22nd. The city of Beeville fired Police Chief Kevin Behr yesterday. In an official statement, city officials confirmed the termination and said the decision followed a complaint of misconduct submitted to the city. Behr was sworn in as chief in April of 2022. Earlier this month, the Beeville Police Association, an organization made up of personnel within the Beeville PD, expressed disappointment on social media about a budget workshop meeting where city council members discussed moving funds from the currently vacant assistant chief position. The city of Corpus Christi announced yesterday that Chief Operating Officer of Corpus Christi Water, Drew Molly, submitted his resignation. Molly spoke with KIII News and said he will return to Houston to take on a new leadership role.
From my perspective, it was an opportunity of a lifetime to be able to serve the community and be a part of this community, and so I'm really grateful for that.
The departure follows City Council's recent vote to pause plans for its Inner Harbor seawater desalination project, something that Molly believes the city will see one day.
Obviously, seawater desal is the future. I believe that strongly. I believe that the Inner Harbor project is a great project. If it's not a project that we build today, certainly it's a project that we have the option to go build it at some point in the future.
That was Molly speaking with KIII News. His final day with Corpus Christi Water will be September 3rd. Corpus Christi police and CCISD officers responded to Ray Miller High School yesterday afternoon following reports of an individual with a weapon on campus. CCPD officers were dispatched to the school around 3:30 p.m. after receiving reports of a subject with a gun at the school. Officers from both CCPD and CCISD conducted a thorough investigation of the premises upon arrival. After completing their assessment, law enforcement determined that no individual with a weapon was present at the school. Officers remained on scene to continue their investigation, but later determined the campus was safe. SpaceX may receive a $3.75 million sales tax refund for creating more than 600 new jobs in Cameron County. During a meeting this past Wednesday, the Star-based City Commission nominated the company's new rocket factory, Gigabay, for the Texas Enterprise Zone program. The program allows corporations that create jobs in areas with high poverty rates to receive sales tax refunds. San Benito City Commissioners have taken their first step to pass an over $19 million general fund budget after pulling $1.8 million from the city's fund balance. With expenditures standing at $19.08 million, officials set the city's fund balance at $16 million. During a meeting this week, Commissioner Pete Galvon called for a workshop before commissioners consider passing the budget on its second reading this coming Monday. To balance the budget, officials are pulling $1.8 million from the fund balance, quote, as a safety net, end quote, according to Galvon. And now for an update on things under the sea. Scientists over at the Harte Research Institute are excited to learn more about the thriving corals they collected near Galveston. Spencer Chioc has more.
Coral reefs are like the rainforest of the sea. They provide structure and habitat for all sorts of sea life. 100 miles off the shore of Galveston, the Flower Garden Banks National Marine Sanctuary, coral covers 80 to 100% of the area, making it one of the healthiest reefs in the world. An annual monitoring trip brought more than 25 researchers to the sanctuary. The Harte Research Institute's Dr. Kevin Behr was part of that team and brought a couple of corals back, looking to better understand why they're healthier.
The species from the flower gardens are the same species that we have from the Caribbean. And one of the big questions that we have is, how do they compare to their Caribbean counterparts? Because what's really unique about the flower gardens, not only is it protected, but the water where they live is very deep. So typically we think of corals between 1 foot to like 40 feet, 60 feet max. But these corals at the Flower Garden Banks, the shallowest it is 65 feet. And they go down to, I think that they've seen these species almost at 200 feet, definitely 150 feet. And with that, we're thinking they're not experiencing the same level of stress that the shallow water corals are, because they are deeper and they have, less light. They potentially have less contact with warm water.
Much like how rainforests on land have been impacted by climate change and human stressors, coral reefs are in a similar boat.
One of the biggest concerns that we have as scientists is that we have this idea sometimes that we don't have an impact on the marine environment because sometimes you won't see it or you won't be right there, and you might think that because we're in Texas we won't impact coral reefs, but we actually do. So there's some things that we do here on land, such as alter the natural environment. We might increase the amount of sediment that goes into our nearshore waters, Or we also might be contributing to the carbon that is released into our atmosphere, and that causes more warming of our ocean.
With rising temperatures comes more complicated questions with yet to be known answers.
Corals are extremely sensitive organisms, and they have this unique relationship with an algae that live inside of its tissues. And that's allowed it to prevail over time and live in some nutrient-poor waters, which we usually think about coral reefs are in very clear waters and hot and sunny and so on. But one of the things that we're still trying to understand about corals and their algae that live inside of them is we don't really know that much about what causes a breakdown in that symbiosis or that relationship. So we do know that if the coral is stressed, or if it gets too hot, or it's too salty, or there's something that changes the water conditions, that relationship will break down and the corals will become bleached. And that becomes really problematic because when the corals do not have their algae or they're bleached, they are essentially starving. The algae provide up to 90% of their energetic requirements. So it's essentially they're starving until they regain their algae and photosynthesize. Now the corals can feed, they're filter feeders, but most of their energy comes from the algae that live inside of them. We still don't know how that happens, who causes it. I like to say, who causes the breakup? Is it the corals or is it the algae? We have evidence for both, and maybe it's just dependent on what caused the breakdown or what's going on inside of the coral, or maybe it's something that's just each species responds differently.
The corals from the Flower Garden Banks National Sanctuary are currently being observed at the Harte Research Institute. For KEDT News, I'm Spencer Chihak.
For years, Aransas County officials wanted to knock down and rebuild their courthouse. Then, Hurricane Harvey hit in 2017. The storm left the county's headquarters since 1956 unsalvageable. 8 years later, the county is still without a functioning courthouse. The new Aransas courthouse is 1/3 of Celebration Plaza, which also includes Rockport City Hall and a recreation center. The courthouse has been 8 years in the making and is still not open. The county owes at least $13.3 million in bonds, according to state data. The county is waiting for the results of a lawsuit to learn whether insurance will cover another $9 million of the project that was paid for using a federal loan, and the county is still negotiating changes to the building that could cost another $1 million. George West High School is expanding its healthcare education thanks to nearly $300,000 from the Jobs and Education for Texans grant. The JET grant will allow the district to create multiple new medical courses, giving students hands-on experience with professional-grade equipment, including hospital beds, medical simulation tools, and an anatomage table. The grant will fund equipment including hospital beds, medical simulation devices, and specialized teaching tools to provide students with real-world experience. Del Mar College is giving students and potential students a chance to get into higher education through an event called 11th Hour Registration, plus a program that's brought a sizable increase in student enrollment. Lon Gonzalez has a story.
Hear the term 11th hour and you automatically think it's a last-minute situation that requires lots of attention. Turn the dial down a bit, and Del Mar College is offering 11th hour registration at every DMC campus tomorrow. The event gives students and potential students a chance to start their next level of education.
All three campuses will be open for our admission, testing, all student support services, and we're also going to have advising open for students to come on to campus to get advised, registered, taking care of all their businesses so that they can get started and register for classes starting on Monday.
That's DMC Dean of Student Outreach and Enrollment Services, Gracie Martinez. She adds, it's not the first time Del Mar College has created an event for added registration. It was once called One Stop Saturday. And while the 11th hour registration will get you in the DMC door, another program offered the incentive to attend Del Mar College, the Freedom to Dream Waiver. Martinez explains.
The Freedom to Dream students, the opportunity is available when it opened up for graduating seniors, whether you've completed dual credit hours in high school or not, whether you're coming in just without college credit.
Martinez says the program, which started in March, has led to a 22% increase in enrollment for the fall semester for students who live in the Del Mar College District. The Freedom to Dream waiver helps anyone who may have started college and dropped out with 12 hours or less. To take advantage of the program, a student needs full enrollment for 12 hours and maintain a 2.0 GPA during the semester. With its early success, will the Freedom to Dream waiver program continue?
The hope is that they're looking at that maybe for next year, so I don't know yet. Too soon to commit to, but that's something that they're hopefully anticipating or talking about, so we'll know shortly, and then we will roll that out once we have a definitive answer.
Well, if you have questions about either the 11th hour registration and the Freedom to Dream waiver, you can contact the DMC Student Enrollment Center at 361-698-1290 or online at enroll@delmar.edu. For KDT News, I'm Lon Gonzalez.
And in sports, Astro rehabbing slugger Yordan Alvarez went 3 for 4 with a pair of doubles last night as the Corpus Christi Hooks snapped a 3-game losing streak by knocking off the Frisco RoughRiders 4-2 in front of over 3,000 fans at Whataburger Field. Alvarez now 5 for 8 with a walk in 2 contests for the Hooks, scorched a double to right center at 108 miles per hour in the first inning. Trey Dombrowski picked up his club-best 7th victory by spinning 4 innings of 1-run ball. Hudson Leach earned his first Texas League save by striking out the side in a perfect 9th. Series continues tonight with first pitch set for 6:35 p.m. And that is the latest news and information on South Texas Midday. I'm Rob Boskamp. Your community arts calendar and more is on the way.